What's up, guys? It's Chad with Paintball Digest. Okay, I have a really cool treat for y'all today. I just got a GTek GMek kit combo for $5.99, and it all just came in the mail. And I'm a total rookie. I've never used this gun. I shot a GMek one time, but I haven't ever stripped one or taken it apart, so I have no idea exactly what's going to happen. And so I kind of wanted to just do a quick unboxing video for you so you can see what's in the kit. But then I also wanted to take it a step further and do the swap, because right now I have the GMek or GTek and I have the GMek trigger for it, trigger frame. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the install as a total newbie who's never done it before. I'm going to kind of show you guys what maybe you can learn from the stumbling points that I hit doing it. So this will be a long video, but feel free to drop a comment. Call me an idiot. You know, the internet's great for that because y'all are anonymous and you can say whatever you want, and I don't know who you are. So talk some shit, and hopefully this helps some people who are also trying to figure this out. I know Rory from ANS has a video showing you how to do this, but Rory also works in the paintball industry and he knows what he's doing. So this will show you what someone who is, I'm technically savvy, I guess, but I've never done this before. So this will show you what it's like, just how hard it is for someone who's never taken a paintball gun fully apart. It'll show you how capable how easy it is to do it. So without further ado, I'll unbox this gun real quick. Looks like we got box with it. It says Game On, hard case, kind of a plastic composite. It's nice. It's nicer than most cases, you know, for guns usually, and considering this gun's pretty cheap, I'm not complaining about having a nice case. It's pretty cool. Alright, so as you can see, I got it in all black, and it comes with a single barrel back and a front barrel, and I believe this has cocker threading, so kind of convenient. I have quite a few guns. It comes with a 6.89, kind of see that there, 6.89 barrel back. We got the gun here. It came, if you buy the package, it comes with an OLED board, a display board on top of it. So I'm told that if you're not a total idiot and you can plug a USB drive in, then you can do this. The gun doesn't feel like a cheap composite. I don't know if you remember the Smart Parts Ions, but those things felt cheap to me. This does not. This feels super solid, super sturdy. And I'm comparing this to some like $1,000, $1,500 guns that I have. So this is a great gun. I'm going to shift the camera because I also got this. So I'm going to shift the camera. You can kind of see me take this thing apart and stumble through this, and you'll learn with me. So here goes. Like I said, we've got trigger frame. And if you watch the ANS video, you will know it's a manual, but it doesn't tell you how to actually take the gun or redo the gun. It doesn't tell you like how to put this together on the frame. It just kind of tells you about what you got in the box. So you'll see here, we've got a very light but metal frame here. Super important here, in this box, in this little spot, you have the solenoid. If you don't replace the solenoid with the other solenoid with this solenoid, you're not going to have a functioning marker. So make sure you don't forget about this piece. Everything in here, I'm told, is extras. So when you take apart the frame of the gun, these are all going to be extras. Hang on to them though, because you never know when you're going to need a good extra. It comes with a nice set of Allens. So I personally have a couple paintball Allen tools, but I'm going to go ahead and do the entire thing here. The only tool I'm bringing to this table that is not in the box is a little screwdriver that I brought. Let me get it off of here. This guy is just going to float here. We're just going to let this guy float, and we are going to swap out the frame. So the screws here, just be careful. I'm going to drop these out so I don't accidentally drop them somewhere else. But there are 2 screws in there. And there's going to be a couple of bolts inside here that you need to grab. I know that from watching the ANS video of this. So basically you can see so far all we've done is take this off of the grip. And the internet's going to tear me apart for not using some of the right lingo here. So so as you can see right now, all I'm doing is taking the grips off, and then once we get these grips off, we are going to disassemble a couple things on the board. And like I said, I watched the ANS video one time, and so that's how I have kind of a rudimentary understanding of what I'm about to be doing. But some of this is just trial and error. As a kid, I liked Legos and stuff like that, so and I've always been into building motorized things, so I know how to take things apart and put them back together pretty well. Okay, super important, something just happened. The bolt that I was mentioning that catches the screws when you're putting them through here just fell. There's two of them. It looks like this. It's a little square bolt. Looks like a Flintstone tire. All right, another one. There's two. So they come out of each side. Just going to drop them out of there. Now the battery, you can just let it hang. It doesn't matter. This whole unit's going to come out in a sec. What I would recommend, and I didn't do this, but now that I'm thinking about it, probably just take a piece of tape. If you have electrical tape or masking tape, just put a piece of tape over there to hold this together, just for storage purposes. In the ANS video, Rory did something where he basically unplugged the eyes. He unplugged the electrical stuff. He unplugged them in here on the board, and then he took the thing apart, and then he waited and unplugged them behind the eyes and along the solenoid. And I'm curious to see if I take the handle off, if I can leave it plugged into the bolt and then just unplug it from here, so I leave it as assembled as possible. So trial and error again, we're going to go ahead and do that and see what happens. So I have taken the screw out of the back here, and I've taken the screw out of the front here, and now this just pops right off. Ooh, and I might be about to realize why Rory did it the way he did it. So, yep, okay. The very top, the only one you'll need to definitely unplug on the board if you want to do this without unplugging everything on the board, you absolutely must unplug the very top plug here. I'm going to go ahead and grab that, because that one is the solenoid plug, and the solenoid you can't undo. A minute ago it was catching. It wasn't letting me pull it through because, as you can see, the solenoid cable, or the solenoid cable, is very, very short. So you can't take the full frame off unless you unplug that top one. As you can see with the eyes, though, this is super simple because the eyes have a longer cable. So I'm going to go ahead and set it down here, and I'm going to just pop the eye covers off real quick. And I'm not even going to remove the eye cable from the board. I'm not going to unplug it. I'm going to leave it plugged in. Again, I'm doing that just to keep this all simple and to eliminate, just kind of idiot-proof this process for myself so I don't lose things and forget how this whole thing was installed when I go to put it back together. If I ever go back to the GTek, which, as of now, the GTek is just going to be a backup gun for me that I'll bring to tournaments in case I need. Wow, that's super easy. Okay, so the eye covers, or the eyes here, red is right, black is left, red right, red right, red right. Just remember that. Black is left. They literally aren't even really plugged in. They just kind of sit here. So they sit inside of this little cutout, and they just come right out. So just like that, super simple, we have completely disassembled the electronic frame. So the only thing we have left to do before we put on the mechanical frame is we need to remove the solenoid for the electric solenoid, and we need to put the mechanical one on. So to do that, you have two screws, one here, one here. we're going to undo each of those. And do so carefully and make sure that you have a small enough screwdriver for them because they are very small. And the last thing that you would want to do here is strip these screws because you're just going to make your life a whole lot more difficult if you do. I can see these screws are very fragile. See, they are not hard metal screws. Come on. Okay, I ran into my first idiot error. So let me see if I have a little screwdriver that might fit a little better. Okay, there we go. I like this one a little more. It's a little bit fatter. It's a nice little Husky miniature screwdriver set. So I have different size Phillips and flathead screwdrivers to like interchange, or heads to interchange in the screwdriver. So I put a little bit of a bigger one on to get better grip, and there we go. That's all it took. So I did strip it a tiny bit, even though as I was explaining it to you, I was being very careful. I still stripped it. It's kind of annoying, kind of irritating, but it is what it is. So those screws are okay. Those screws are out. Now I'm going to try to show you this because I'm told this is important, according to Rory. In here, you have two little O-rings. One is shaped kind of like a pear, and one is a small circle. They stayed in here. In some cases, when you take that solenoid out, they will fall out with it. So make sure those are there, both of them. Pear shape, circle shape. Make sure they're there. Don't lose them. All right. We are ready to install the solenoid for the mechanical solenoid. And this is going to be relatively sort of simple. Okay. As you can see, the solenoid needs to, I'm going to look in the manual here. I'm almost positive the solenoid, and I'm not looking this up on my phone while I do this, so I'm almost positive the solenoid faces that way, with the red nipple pointing forward. And then there's like a bigger red. There's this, so when you're looking at it, like the little red nipple that you see pointing out, that one points forward. I'm almost positive. I'm going to look in the manual and see if I didn't have internet here and I needed to figure this out with just what they give me. I'm going to see if I could figure this out. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Quick start guide, page 1. You can see the nipple points forward, like I was saying. So that's how I'm going to go ahead and do it. The nice thing about this is that the screws that came in the electric solenoid there that I was telling you not to strip, those screws are going to be the screws we use to go right through here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop those through. I'm dropping them through, and I'm going to let it drop through there, like so. That's the screw poking out at the bottom. And I'm going to line that screw up right here. And I'm going to make sure get this screw started. There we go. It's in there, but it's very, very loose. I'm not trying to tighten it down a ton. I'm just trying to get it in there and get it set so that the solenoid is at least like in position. It's easier to line up the second screw that way, in my opinion. Again, this is me doing this just kind of trial and error and see if I get it right. So I guess when it gets all put together, we'll know if I'm a total idiot or if I was able to do this. An important thing to note here, and you want to make sure that you do this, is kind of don't just tighten one screw down right away. Tighten, there's the two screws that I'm doing here. Kind of go, you got 1 and 2, 1, 2. kind of tighten them down, alternate them so that you don't just crank one down and then leave the other one like crank the other one second. Like kind of go back and forth and ease them both down to their full tight position so that you don't make this solenoid lopsided at all. That would not be good. Okay. So as you can see, something just happened to my computer, I'm sorry. As you can see, the solenoid points forward, the screws are both in and tight, the nipple of the solenoid points forward, and we're in there nice and tight. There's going to be no room for leaks or anything. That part's done. Okay, now, the rest of this is pretty straightforward. You can see this is pretty intuitive, right? So obviously the trigger points the way it points. We all know how a trigger goes on a gun. I'm going to set it over that like that. And just so you can kind of see what the mechanical function looks like, basically what makes this mechanical, every time you pull the trigger, it's going to press the button on the solenoid. And that button, it's going to press on the nipple. That nipple is going to open up and allow a burst of air to come through. And again, this is me. I'm a total idiot, but I have a basic understanding of how machines work, so I just know that like this is what I'm looking at. So super simple. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on, but first I realized I almost made my first major rookie error, and that is I forgot to put the eye covers back on. So you can see there's just a hole where the eyes go. I'm going to go ahead and put these back on. Really simple, really quick. I probably could have put these on after I put the frame on, but just so I don't look like a total idiot here, I'm going to take this and be safe than sorry. Be safe rather than sorry here, and put these on before I put the frame on. I don't know that you have to do it that way, but I'm going to do it that way, like I said. Okay, there we go. Eye covers are back on. Now, like I said, putting the trigger on is super simple. It just slides right on there. Grab these. It would help if I didn't lose screws. Okay, I see one. Oh, the other one was still in the frame. Okay, these fat screws with the short fat screws are the ones that we're going to use to secure the frame. And I'm going to drop them in and just kind of start threading them with my finger to get them locked in so that they're both at least in the holes. And then I will go ahead and take the Allen. Okay. I'm very much kind of anal retentive about like keeping my stuff brand new. So instead of spinning this shorter Allen key like I was and tapping on the frame the way I was just doing, I'm going to be a little more conservative here and use it long ways like this so that I just kind of twist it halfway, take it out, do it again so that I don't scuff the back of the frame here, twisting it like that. So this one is doesn't have, the front one does not have that problem. As you can see, the Allen sticks above. It doesn't hit anything when I spin it like that, so I'm just going to spin it like that. Sorry if I talk too much. You can mute me if you want, but I just like to share my thought process with y'all so that you know why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. I don't care. Okay. Trigger frame is on the gun. Nothing to it. Super cool. awesome. Okay, sorry, I'm just zoning out. Okay, this part's cool. Basically, because the frame of the mech frame is metal, you actually don't need these little nuts that the screws went into from the here. So this is going to fit. It fits like a puzzle. So you can see that, how it's shaped like that, and that matches. So we're just going to put it on top and kind of wiggle it down until it fits flush like that. Make sure it's flush. I'm going to hold it together, and I'm just going to drop these long screws in. And again, just like I did on the frame, I'm just going to thread them a little bit with my finger to get them going and make sure they're lined up properly, and then I'm going to do the other one. And these require the bigger Allen, the second fat, no they don't actually, sorry, I lied, don't pay attention to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. There you go. It's firmly secured back on the bottom of the handle, or the grip. And I am now going to put the grip back on, and then we'll have a complete, I'm scanning the table, making sure I'm not missing anything. But as you can see, the only parts I have left over here, I have the 2 bolts that I just mentioned we don't need, because those bolts are for the plastic frame to make sure that you wouldn't be able to screw these screws into the plastic frame and expect them to hold. So the bolts go in there so the screws hold on to the plastic frame. Because the frame of the GTek is plastic, the GMek frame is metal. So, in case you guys are wondering. So we have those extra, and I have these 4 extra left over, which tells me these are the 4 grip screws. So that's all we have left. So I'm going to drop these on here. Drop the grip on here. Line it up. Nothing to it. And these ones are so small that I can't really thread them with my finger. So I'm going to have to use the tool to get them in. But they go in really easily. I mean, and they only have, that was probably 3 or 4 full turns. They're not like super long screws. Now I know I've been told that in the Smart Parts, or SP, Smart Parts doesn't exist anymore apparently, in the SP Shocker CVO, there's a couple things you can adjust inside. There's like some springs that you can adjust trigger tension for inside of the frame. And this, as far as I know, there's no such issue or thing to consider. Rather, the 2 things that you can adjust are both adjustable from the outside of the frame here through Allen keys. So much more simple. I like that. I like that I don't need to take the grip off every time I want to adjust my trigger, because that would get annoying really fast. Time finding the threads there, but it caught finally. Alright, I have 1 more screw to put in, and on that one I will tell you exactly how many turns we need on it to tighten it. So, okay. Alright, so I'm just going to get it caught on the threads. Okay, it's just caught. It's not. I haven't tightened it at all. It's maybe a 1/4 turn in. Okay, so we're going to start it pointing down, and this screw requires, so the Allen's pointing down. This screw requires 1, 2, 3, 4, and about 4.5 turns to go fully tight. And there you have it. You officially have a GMek, Eclipse GMek gun